Hello, hello. Okay, so I'm going to tell a story, and I'll preface this story with the following statement. We are all works in progress, and we all fuck up sometimes. This story is titled, loosely, My First Felony. Have you ever had a really bad day? Like just a really shitty day? Where like you're sitting there and like you just want to be home? I had one of those days at work. And for my job, I was a sales rep throughout Vermont and New Hampshire, and I'd call on doctors' offices all day. And it kind of sucked because they all hated me because I was a drug rep. And I just had one of those days, and I was like, I just want to get home. Oh my God. So I'm in upper Vermont, and I need to get down to Walpole, New Hampshire, where I was living at the time. And I put in my GPS, my home address, and they said shortest way or fastest way. So in my brilliance, I said, well, fastest way is only fastest if you're driving the speed limit. And I want to go home, so I'm going to take the shortest route and just speed, because I want to go home. So it gives me a little warning on the GPS that says, hey, there are some unpaved roads on this route. Are you sure you wish to go this way? And I'm like, hell, I live in freaking New Hampshire. I know there are unpaved roads. I'm fine. So I say, unpaved roads is okay. And I head on down the road, and I'm driving up in Randolph, Vermont. It's beautiful. Oh, I'm so happy. I'm going to take a scenic ride home. I'm going to be home. This day's going to be freaking over. So I get to the top of this hill, and it says to take a right. And I look, and I'm like, oh, this must be the unpaved road. It's a little bit unpaved. Well, it's no pavement at all, really. It's dirt with some rocks on it. But it was good enough. And I'm like, all right, I'm going to go. The GPS says, all right, in a quarter of a mile, you're going to take a right. So I'm like, sweet. In a quarter mile, I'm going to take a right. This is awesome. I really wasn't this excited, to be honest with you. I'm embellishing a bit. But I was like, all right, I'm going to go. And I get up to a quarter of a mile, and it says, a quarter of a mile, take a right. And I'm like, okay, whatever, it's going to come up. And the road's getting a little bit worse as I go on, but I'm like, it's going to come up. It's going to come up. I know it will, because it's GPS, and they're always right. So I go up a little bit more, and there's no thing. There's no turn, and I'm like, okay, well, whatever. It's got to go. It's got to come up sometime. It just must be off a little bit or something. Then I see a rock. Not a little rock, but a big one. One that kind of said, hey, Teresa, if you drive past this rock, you're really committing to a path that you are unsure of what the outcome's going to be. And Teresa said, well, I'm always up for a good time. It's a rock. I'm in a minivan. How bad could this be? And so I started driving. And I'm driving, and then there's another rock. And then another rock, and I probably still could have backed up at this time, but no, I was going to enjoy this ride home. What the hell? I happen to love four-wheel driving. That's just kind of a side thing. I'll just let that out here. So that was a motivating factor in this story. So I'm driving, and then there's some mud. And I'm like, okay, I'm going to be okay. It's just a little mud. And I got a little stuck. Okay, so I get unstuck, because this was just a little stuck. You know, everybody gets a little stuck once in a while, what the hell? But then I look, and I see, and my GPS, by the way, now, on my GPS it says I'm in Nowhere, Vermont. N-O-W-H-E-R-E, Vermont, is what it said. But I still had Facebook access. As a matter of fact, before this evening, earlier, I was trying to look up what I had posted on Facebook during this event. But, dude, first of all, if you ever want to laugh at yourself, go back to 2010 and look what you were saying then. Also, it's very difficult to find things when you post as much as I do on Facebook, but that's another story. So,
search engine sucks.
So, I'm sitting there, and I notice it says that up ahead I'm going to be on Route 4, not so far, like a half a mile. And I'm like, okay, cool. There's a chain across the road. Fuck. Okay, so now I know I'm kind of screwed. And I decided to call the state troopers, or the 911 number, and tell them that I'm a little lost in the woods. And so I get somebody on the phone, and he's like, well, I'm in Manchester, New Hampshire right now, and if I happen to get back in a couple hours, I will certainly come and get you. He's like, if you're stuck. He's like, otherwise I would suggest just undoing that chain, maybe, and then going through there and then coming back out. So I'm like, okay, fine, I'll try that. So I go on, I start going, I get stuck in some dirt. Now this time, it's not a little stuck, it's, stuck. And I was in black patent heels and a little skirt and a dress and a blazer. And I'm sitting there, and I'm stuck. Oh my God. Forwards. No, backwards. Oh my God. Totally stuck. So I get out of the car, I start pulling out the freaking floor mats, putting them under my tires. My big glossy pharmaceuticals posters that I have to use every day, put them under my tires. Try to get some traction. Oh crap, there's a freaking huge log sitting here. Moving the freaking log over the fucking side of the road. Oh, this was a great idea, Teresa! Thank the Lord I got out. So then I go up, I turn around, and I'm like, okay, I'm going to go up to the right because it doesn't look so muddy over there. And I get stuck again. But I had a plan. And I did the same thing again, and I sort of got out. And I called the officer, and he's like, well, just try and get out, and if you need to, I have my Toyota, and I'll come and get you. And I'm like, I do not want anybody seeing me here. I am getting the fuck out of here if it kills me. I do not want a cop coming out, driving down this road, thinking the whole time, this stupid bitch drove down this fucking road in a minivan? So I worked my ass off to get up those stones. Bang! Clash! The sounds a minivan can make! So I finally work my way up, and I'm just kind of trying to get there. I'm trying to get up to the top of the hill, and then over to the side I see these ATVs. And they have their helmets off, and they're looking at me. So I roll down the window, and I'm just like, yeah. And I made some comment about, oh, I got a little stuck in mud down there. And they're just like, okay. And I finally get back to the dirt, and I see a woman with 2 dogs and some horses, and the horses are on a leash. The dogs are just running around. And I just stop, and I'm like, I'm gonna say hi, otherwise I might look weird. So I said hello, and I was like, I just got a little stuck up there, and I'm just leaving now. She's like, okay, have a good night. So I call my husband. I'm like, Dave, I got out of this place. I'm just gonna stop. I'm gonna, clean up, because as you can probably imagine, I have a little mud on me. And so I'm like, I'm gonna go home. I'm gonna go to McDonald's. I'm gonna go to the bathroom. I'm gonna wash up. I'm gonna get some food. I'm gonna go home. He's like, no. I'm like, what do you mean? He's like, do not stop that car. I'm like, what do you mean? He's like, Teresa, you have no idea what you did to that car. You drive it home, and you drive as far as you can to get here, and if it stops, you call me. So I'm like, okay, boss. So I drive home, and I get home, and I put the car in park, and I go in, and I take a shower, and I come out, and he's like, Teresa? And I'm like, yes. He's like, your car gave birth in the driveway. And so I go out, and I look, and there's freaking transmission fluid, and there's radiator fluid, and there's oil all over the place. And so I had it towed, and it turns out I did about $7,000 worth of damage on my little joyride. But hell, it's a good story.
Yeah, where's the felony?
Oh, hey, I forgot! I got the most important part of this thing on. Okay, most important part. The cop told me to call him when I got home. He's like, just let us know that you got home okay. Because I said to him, I was like, I'm out of the woods now. So he's like, call us when you get home. So I call and it shift change, so it wasn't Mr. Nice Cop anymore. It was Mr. Asshole Cop. And they'd obviously been talking about the stupid girl who went down the Class 4 ATV trail. That was the road, by the way. And so when I called, I was like, this is Teresa. And he goes, he's like, so. I'm like, so. He's like, you're home okay? I'm like, yes, I am. He's like, okay. I'm going to let you know right now. You were driving on private federal property. And
private federal property? That makes no sense.
It was federal property. It's like I should not be on it, and me driving on it is a felony.
You slapped him in the face with a dick.
I don't have a dick.
You can borrow mine. I told you to take the chain down.
So at that point, he said, I had committed a felony. He's like, you're not going to do that again, are you?
Oh.
And I said, no. And here I am. That's the end of the story.